Some things South Korea does are so obvious, so simple, so clearly better, that the moment you find out about them, you stop and ask one question: why does everywhere else still do it the hard way? A map app so far, superior to Google, that the world's most dominant tech company has failed to compete with it for nearly 20 years. A comic format invented during a financial crisis that the entire global entertainment industry is now copying. And a level of automation that makes the rest of the world's conversation about robots look like it is 20 years behind. Today, we are counting down 13 things South Korea does that will make you question everything. Watch until the end, because number 13 will change how you think about the future of work entirely. Number 1. No tipping culture. The country that decided service workers deserve a real wage. Every time you sit down at a restaurant in most Western countries, a quiet anxiety starts. How much do I tip? Was the service good enough? What if I get it wrong? You have accepted this mental load as a normal part of eating out. In South Korea, tipping is not just uncommon. Under the Food Sanitation Act, adding a mandatory service charge on top of a listed price is illegal. Leaving a voluntary tip is considered rude. Staff will chase you down the street to return money you left on the table because they think you forgot it. Korean service workers are paid a full living wage from the start. Their income does not depend on your generosity at the end of the meal. You sit down, you eat, you pay the price on the menu. No math, no guilt, no anxiety. Most countries built a broken pay structure and asked customers to fix it every meal. Korea never broke it in the first place. Number 2. The Four Rivers cycling route. A 1,700-kilometer car-free path crossing the entire country. Most countries have bike lanes. A painted strip on a road, occasionally interrupted by parked cars and delivery trucks. Korea built something on a completely different scale. The Four Rivers cycling route is over 1,700 kilometers of fully dedicated paved car-free cycling paths following 4 major rivers across the entire country. You can cycle from Seoul to Busan, 633 kilometers, without crossing a single road used by cars. At regular intervals, there are red phone booth stamp stations. Collect stamps on a government bike passport and complete a full route. You earn an Olympic-style medal sent to your home. Cyclists from around the world plan trips specifically to ride it. Most countries talk about getting people out of cars. Korea built 1,700 kilometers of reason to do it. Number 3. The kimchi refrigerator. A dedicated appliance engineered for one food. In most homes, you have one refrigerator. Everything goes in it. It is a one-size-fits-all solution that fits nothing perfectly. Korea invented a second refrigerator and built it entirely around one food. The kimchi refrigerator, first commercialized by LG in 1995, is found in over 98% of Korean homes. It maintains temperature within plus or minus 1 degree Celsius, replicating underground clay pot storage. It keeps kimchi fresh for 4 to 5 months. A regular fridge keeps it fresh for about 1 week before the smell takes over everything around it. Non-Koreans are now buying kimchi refrigerators for wine, aged cheese, and fermented meats, because an appliance engineered for precise stable temperature is simply better at controlled aging than a regular fridge. Korea designed it for one food and accidentally built the best fermentation storage unit in the world. Number 4. Free school lunches. Hot, fresh, and planned by a nutritionist. Every day, by law. Think about what you ate for school lunch. In most countries, it is something beige in a tray or a packed lunch from home. The quality is low enough that most people remember it as a punchline. In South Korea, every student from kindergarten through high school receives a free hot, freshly cooked meal every school day, planned by a qualified nutritionist employed by the school, required by law. The government allocated 7.53 trillion won to the program in 2022 alone. Schools have served cheesy baked lobster tails as special event meals. Research found that schools introducing universal free meals saw a 35% reduction in student conflicts. Every other country accepts that what a child eats at school does not matter enough to invest in properly. Korea decided it matters completely and funded it accordingly. Number 5. Skincare as prevention. The country that treats sunscreen like a seatbelt. In most countries, skincare is something you start thinking about when the damage is already done. You buy a moisturizer in your 30s. You remember sunscreen at the beach? It is reactive and optional. Korea treats skincare as preventative health. Daily SPF is worn by men and women as a standard baseline, not a holiday product. Dermatology clinics are walk-in and affordable, used for maintenance rather than emergencies. Children are taught sun protection as a health habit from a young age, the same way they are taught to brush their teeth. Korea has among the lowest rates of premature skin aging in the developed world, not because of genetics, because of daily habits the rest of the world treats as optional extras. Prevention is always cheaper than repair. Korea built a culture around that idea, and the results are visible. Number 6. Heated toilet seats. The single cheapest upgrade the rest of the world has ignored. At some point this winter, you will sit down on a cold toilet seat. You will hate it for 3 seconds and forget about it because you have accepted it as permanent. In South Korea, heated toilet seats are standard, not in luxury hotels, not as a premium upgrade. Standard in homes, offices, restaurants, and public bathrooms across the country. The technology costs almost nothing to add at manufacturing stage. The electricity it uses is negligible. There is no complicated mechanism. It is a heated surface you sit on every day. And the only reason the rest of the world does not have it is that nobody demanded it loudly enough. Korea looked at one of the most universal minor discomforts in daily life, decided it was unacceptable, and fixed it. The rest of the world is still sitting on cold seats and calling it normal. Number 7. Life 4 cuts. Professional photos for $3, available at 3 a.m. Getting a professional quality photo taken in most countries requires booking a photographer, renting a studio, or paying significant money for a result that may or may not be worth it. It is an event, not something you do on a Tuesday. Korea put a professional photo studio on every street corner, removed the staff entirely, and made it available 24 hours a day for about $3. Life 4 cuts, known as Insajang in Korean, are unmanned photo booths found throughout every major city in South Korea. You step in, choose a background and frame style from a touchscreen, pose for 4 shots with professional lighting, and walk out with a printed strip of photos in minutes. 4,001, about $3. The concept is now spreading global. Singapore, London, Los Angeles, and cities across Southeast Asia are installing them. What Korea treated as an ordinary Tuesday errand, the rest of the world is now discovering as a novelty. Korea was 20 years ahead on this one. Number 8. Korean BBQ. The restaurant that gives you the kitchen. In most restaurants, the deal is clear. The kitchen cooks the food. The server brings it to you, you eat it. You have no role in the process beyond ordering and paying. The meal is passive. Korean BBQ changed the entire structure of what a restaurant meal can be. At a Korean BBQ restaurant, every table has a built-in grill with a downdraft ventilation system engineered directly into the table. You order raw marinated meat and you cook it yourself at your table. You control the heat, the timing, the char level. You eat it as it comes off the grill, still sizzling, wrapped in a lettuce leaf with garlic and fermented paste. If you are enjoying this so far, tap like and subscribe so you do not miss the rest of this list. The next ones will make you question even more. The meal becomes an event. The table becomes a gathering point. The act of cooking together is the social experience, not just a precursor to it. Most countries separated cooking from eating and called it a restaurant. Korea put the two things back together and made dinner genuinely worth looking forward to. Number 9. Safety culture. The country where you can leave your phone on a table and come back an hour later. In most cities, you do not leave your belongings unattended. You do not leave your phone on a cafe table while you use the bathroom. You do not leave your bag on a chair while you order. This is not paranoia, it is just how cities work. In South Korea, it is completely normal to reserve a table at a busy cafe by leaving your phone and laptop on it and walking away. Suitcases are left unattended by riversides for hours. Wallets left on restaurant tables while people step outside are still there when they return. Seoul has one of the highest CCTV densities of any city in the world. Collective responsibility is deeply embedded in Korean culture. Penalties for theft are taken seriously. Korea engineered the conditions for public trust. The feeling of moving through a city without constantly calculating your personal security is something most people have never experienced. In Korea, it is Tuesday. Number 10. Broadband as national infrastructure. The country that bet on the internet during a financial crisis and won. In 1997, South Korea's economy collapsed. The IMF stepped in with a bailout. Unemployment doubled. Most governments in that position cut spending and waited. Korea's government did the opposite. They treated broadband internet as national infrastructure, the same way other countries treat roads, and subsidized it aggressively across the entire country at the exact moment they could least afford to. The BET paid off completely. The network Korea built during its financial crisis directly created the conditions for the PC bang culture, the webtoon industry, the esports infrastructure, and the entire Korean digital economy. Every major cultural and technological export Korea has produced in the last 20 years traces back to that one decision made during a crisis. Most countries build infrastructure when it is easy. Korea built it when it was hardest, and it changed everything. Number 11. Naver Maps. The country where Google Maps does not work, and the local alternative is better. Google Maps works everywhere. That is the assumption. You land somewhere new, open Google Maps, find your way. Most people have never had reason to question it. Land in South Korea and Google Maps will fail you. Directions will be wrong. Transport times will be missing. Routes will be inaccurate. Under Korea's Spatial Information Management Act, high-precision map data cannot be exported to overseas servers for national security reasons. Google requested an exemption in 2007 and again in 2016. Korea refused both times, so Korea built its own. Naver Map has 27 million monthly active users in a country of 51 million people. It shows real-time subway arrivals, walking routes through building interiors, and live traffic data accurate to the minute. The world's most dominant tech company cannot compete in one of the world's most digital countries because Korea decided its own solution was better and protected it. Number 12. The webtoon format. How Korea invented the future of storytelling during a financial crisis. In the early 2000s, South Korea's traditional print comics industry collapsed almost completely. Publishers shut down, artists lost their income, an entire creative industry disappeared in a few years. A small number of Korean artists started posting comics online for free, reformatted for the screen. Instead of horizontal panels designed for print, they drew vertically in a long continuous scroll designed to be read on a monitor and later a phone. They called them webtoons. By the time smartphones arrived in 2009, the format was already perfectly optimized for mobile reading. Korea had spent 6 years accidentally developing the ideal comic format for a device that did not yet exist. Naver Webtoon now has 170 million monthly active users across 150 countries. The global Webtoon market is projected to reach $71 billion by 2032. Marvel, DC, and Netflix have all partnered with Korean Webtoon platforms and adopted the vertical scroll format. Korea's comics industry collapsed, and the artist who survived it invented the format the entire global entertainment industry is now copying. The rest of the world is still figuring out what Korea built in a crisis 20 years ago. Number 13. Robot density, the most automated country on Earth, and what that actually means. Most countries talk about automation as something coming in the future, a disruption to prepare for, something to be cautious about. South Korea already lives there. According to the International Federation of Robotics 2024 report, South Korea has 1,012 robots for every 10,000 workers. The global average is 162. The United States is 295. Korea is more than 6 times the global average and the first country in history to cross the 1,000 robot threshold. This was not accidental. It was a deliberate national strategy to stay competitive in manufacturing without competing on labor costs. The robots are in Samsung and Hyundai factories right now, in food processing facilities, logistics warehouses, and construction sites across the country. The question the rest of the world is still debating, whether automation is good or dangerous, is a question Korea already answered. It built the most automated economy on Earth, kept growing it, and is not waiting to see how the story ends. Korea decided the outcome and built it. Every single point on this list exists because South Korea looked at something the rest of the world accepted as normal and decided normal was not good enough. A cold toilet seat, a tipping system that transfers financial risk to customers, a comics industry that collapsed and rebuilt itself into a global format worth billions. The pattern is always the same. Korea identifies a problem, engineers a solution, and builds infrastructure around it, while everyone else is still debating whether the problem is worth solving. If you want to see more, like and subscribe, and